All right, welcome to the Goose of All Trades podcast with the first episode of the new series, Country Footy Diaries. Got my good friend Mark Smitty Smudge. You're a man of many names. What name do you actually prefer?
Smudge is probably the go-to these days. Probably
Smudge.
about 30 other options. But
Where did that name actually come from? I actually don't know.
I believe I was on a cricket trip, and a couple of Northies just started calling me. Actually, I assume it's probably after Steve Smith, but yeah, out of all people, the Northies did something good for me.
Oh, so actually like come from them. You actually like use it that it come from them.
Yeah, it was just a carnival where they started calling me it.
Do you know where it come from? Like why they started calling you Smudge? And
No,
why you
no.
of all people?
I honestly just think, yes, Steve Smith, the Australian cricketer, Smudge, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Weird connection.
Smith,
But
last name. Yeah. I'll take it, but I've definitely been called worse.
yeah, well, I think we both have, to be honest. So obviously this country footy diaries, we talk about footy and whatnot, but also like the effects on the positive side of playing local footy and like the negative sides and just going through your career and what have you. So I believe we met through playing West Gambier. I'm pretty sure that was probably the first interactions we had. Because I think our brothers played the older grade. It must have been like under 14s together at the time when we played under 12s. You were obviously playing 12As. I was playing 12Bs because I was shit and you were good. And the funny thing is, your old man was actually my coach when I played under 12Bs.
Yeah, I remember you wearing your long sleeve T-shirt underneath your playing Guernsey.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I always like wearing long sleeves. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I always thought I had skinny arms. I was always just self-conscious that I had skinny arms. I don't know why, because there's a lot of skinnier blokes than me. Like even now and as a kid, but I don't know why. But yeah, I did. But yes, we met through footy, and then I think we just had a lot of mutual friends, and that's how we kind of come together in the same group. Wasn't it really?
Yeah.
Was it through Lee or was it through Waters?
Yeah, obviously Lee and Dougie played footy with us, all
Yeah.
of at the same year level at school, and yeah, I guess when we sort of got to high school, Rob and Mick and a couple of those boys
Joined
come
in.
into the friendship group and
Yeah.
sort of haven't looked back since. We're still stuck with each other.
Yeah, well, kind
We've
of
got no
like
other friends.
it was kind of like a big business merge, like two like big friendship groups merged because it was like me, Wars, and Rob. We were all good friends from year two. I knew Rob from reception, this crazy like curly haired blonde guy just running around being crazy at birthday parties because we lived a few paces away from each other growing up. We had a mutual friend that lived near us, and then become friends with those boys at Morak, and then we met Lee through school footy, I believe, because he was at Sutton Town. And then obviously joined up with him again through West and all that. But then, yeah, it was kind of our two groups kind of merged. It was like you, Lee, Doug, and all that. We all kind of just emerged. And then we had, like a few people join the group and whatever. And pretty much our basis of our friendship group is sport, though, isn't it, really?
Yeah, pretty much. I guess that's how sort of knew Waters a bit, sort of playing cricket, against him, and then just like town teams and rep cricket together. We got pretty close, I guess, and then at school, some of those boys like Mick didn't really say, couldn't get a word out of him for a couple of years in high school, and then by the end of it, alcoholic can't shut him up.
That's kind of like the mutual thing we all had though. Like some of us obviously fucking better than others are actually playing it, but we all followed sport, we all played it. We also like getting the bevs on the weekends. Like definitely my fucking teenage years and shit, we all did. That was kind of like the basis of our friendship group, just sport and alcohol, really. Which I think a lot of friendship groups start off that way. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I was probably more sort of focused on sport there for a little bit. Like I'd have a few beers. I was a bit of a prude.
yeah,
I don't know
that's one way to put it.
I don't know what you'd say, but that all sort of changed when I moved down to Port Mac.
Yeah, because
became a pisshead pretty quickly.
because like when you kind of jump ahead, we'll jump back a bit, but you transitioned from West Gambier to Port Mac, not in the middle of the season, but after a few games had already played. And notice you were pretty dedicated at the point, like on a Friday night, you wouldn't drink at all. You'd have to sleep in your own bed. You have to be in bed by the. Are you still like that? Have you eased off, or do you still have kind of like your superstitious rituals?
No, I'm definitely very conscious of what I do on Fridays. Like, try not to have any soft drink or anything sort of after lunchtime, and just hydrate. Just pump bottles of water into me, and go to bed early. never. Oh, every now and then, if we're playing like a lower team or something, and had a bit of a rough week or something, then there's a couple of like knockoff beers or something, like
Yeah.
2 or 3 beers. But yeah, it used to be real like I'd never have a beer on Thursday in the club.
Yeah, right. Even that.
Anything
Yeah,
like
okay.
that, like it was real like got to prepare yourself. But yeah, every now and then I might have a couple of portergas or something on Thursday night or something like that. But
So did
yeah,
you
definitely like even if I had 2 or 3 beers on a Friday after work, I'd still go home and just make sure I just pump a couple of litres of water in, then wake up and very much just water and Powerade leading up to games. So
Yeah. Like, did you ever notice like a difference from when you were like really, really like hot in it, not drinking, blah blah blah, to then when you did ease up? Was it an actual difference between like how you played and how you pulled up, or was that kind of just like a mindset you always had, if it kind of helped it or not?
if anything, probably play better when you don't give a fuck.
It's kind of like a mental thing though, isn't it? Like when you're
Yeah.
overthinking shit and all that, you kind of not always. Sometimes you do have like a good game when you're like really like hot on things like you were and stuff. And other times where you kind of just go in not blind, but go in kind of not having expectations. I guess is when you kind of have your best games.
Yeah,
Can do.
I think if you certainly over the years put too much pressure on yourself and everything's got to be perfect in the lead up and there's all this shit going through your head, and then at the end of the day you just chill out, don't think about it, wait till the game and just let it flow. Like, yeah, obviously, mate, I think it makes a difference. So I would say probably hydrating before definitely helps with your recovery, how you feel on a Sunday and that. But yeah, obviously it's good for you. But I'd say those over the years when I have had a few beers on a Thursday or a Friday and whatever, it hasn't really. I wouldn't say it's affected anything. No.
Well, that goes to, I guess, like my next question too, is there's a lot of people that kind of like one side of it and other people on the other side of some, like, it goes to netball as well. Some country footballers, some country netballers, some people say, oh, they take it too seriously. It's just, it's just a country sport on a Saturday. Like, they're not drinking Friday night, they're not partying with their friends, like, they're not living in the moment. Then there's other people who's like, yeah, well, I want to take it serious because I'm passionate about it, or because, if you're a gunner player, you're getting like big money. There's big money in country foot, or it can be. A lot of people like to take it.
Where is it?
Don't you lie, mate. No, you're in the big bucks, mate. So I guess, like, where do you kind of sit on that side of obviously being like you've been pretty much an A grade your whole life since you've been playing senior footy. Like, where do you sit on that side of it, I guess? Like, do you think some people get too serious about it and kind of let it kind of control their lives a bit, or do you think that's kind of healthy to have something to kind of be like that with, I guess?
I definitely think that, yeah, that you can get people that are way too professional, because at the end of the day, it is this country footy. But at the same time, like, yeah, you're playing A grade footy, you're getting paid to play, whether that's $50 or 500 or whatever you're on. Like, you're paid players. That means you've got to train Tuesday, Thursday, rock up Saturday. I think you owe it to yourself and the club to like do the right thing, and whatever you do behind closed doors, that's up to you, I think. But if you were to be seen at the pub on a Friday night carrying on, like, you shouldn't be playing A grade. Like, you should be dropped. Like, there's definitely basic things, but then you just got to rock up, make sure you do what you need to do, and then what do you do on Saturday night? It's up to you, as long as you rock up to training on Tuesday and you can still, yeah. I don't think these drinking bans and curfews and
Bit too much.
things like that, because at the end of the day, it's country footy and people still got to live their lives, and regardless, people are going to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think you still got to have professionalism, like, and that's how you be successful as clubs. But I think it's all about balance.
Yeah.
Bit of balance, bit of common sense.
I guess the way I look at it too, like 99.9% of country footy players, even though they're getting like the big bucks playing footy or not, is most people work a Monday to Friday or a Tuesday, Saturday, whatever it is. And some people after a big long work week just want a couple of beers on a Friday, like knock off or whatever. That's not going to get them drunk, blah, 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 blah. I think I'm all for that, because that's what gets forgotten is like, yeah, some players, make $300 a game, whatever, but that's not going to sustain them as a job. So they still got to work Monday to Friday. And if they've had like a tough week and they look forward to having a beer or something, I think they should without getting shamed or whatever. But different than going out to a pub, getting smashed, being a dickhead, at a pub or a nightclub or whatever the night before is a bit different. But I guess, winding back the clock now. how old were you when you started at West?
Oh, I was probably 7 or 8. I reckon I was sort of in my brother's shadow a bit. Whatever he did, I probably started footy a little bit earlier just because I was around there doing whatever he was doing. So probably 7 or 8, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty young. So I remember, like, I'm a few months, or what, like 3, 4 months older than you. I do remember, I think we started around at the same time. I remember us being, like, the youngest crop. Like, there was a few that were a bit younger that would only train, but they wouldn't play at all. But, I guess, like, you also, was it under 14s or 16s you also broke the goal kicking record?
I don't know if it was a record but
I thought
under 14s kicked 105 or something.
I could be wrong. I thought it was a record. I could be wrong.
I think you might be right.
Yeah. I don't know. Someone comment online somewhere if I'm wrong or right. Be able to fact check it somewhere. But I do remember it being in the paper and stuff. I don't think I was playing footy at that stage. I don't think. I remember seeing in the paper and stuff that you'd kicked 100 and what have you. I'm pretty sure like Troy Hatt kicked a fair bit of goals that year as well. I remember it being like a big thing that there was so many goals kicked in like I don't know if it was under 14s or 16s, but I remember it being a big thing. So I guess your time at West, you got into seniors pretty young as well, didn't you? Like you had your debut game pretty young. Oh, this has got to be punishment, surely.
It's a rocket.
It's actually. He's watching his back. He'd be spewing, wondering why he didn't answer.
Sorry, what was the question?
How young were you when you made... This is actually Rob ringing me.
I think
this
he
is
wants
actually
to come
insane.
around and get on the piss.
Well, no, that was my mother-in-law. And that was Rob as well. I had 2 people ring at the same time. That's incredible. That's a pretty amazing thing to happen like on recording. But anyway, how young were you when you made your A-grade debut? You're pretty young from what I remember.
15, I believe. 2011. 2011 I played.
So we were year 10,
game.
yeah.
They actually funny story in 2010. Yeah, I was still in under 14s. 2010 there was a final at South against Millicent, and Jacka had hurt his fingers, and I was told to take my gear and never played a game. But yeah, obviously, it's way too young at that stage anyway. But
so you just disappointed then, or you kind of relieved?
Oh, obviously, I'd love to play, but shouldn't have. No way. That would have been the year I kicked the 100, I reckon. And that was the year, West won the first grand final in whenever, a long time. And then 2011, I sort of trained, because I was water boy, actually, in 2010 and 11. No, I wasn't in 11. But I played, I think it was the only game they lost for the year.
Yeah.
Over at Hamilton, played against Imperials. Just played the one game, and then I started playing full time in 2012.
Yeah, right. And like, because you was like you, Dougie, I reckon Speed, you were all kind of like playing seniors towards around about the same time, weren't you? Kind of that young crop coming through.
Yeah, I think Lee played a few games. Then Jack Pudney was there at that stage as well. He played a few, I think.
Yeah.
That's a while ago now.
Yeah, no, it is, isn't it? It's pretty crazy to think about. Because I do remember you guys playing in losing grand final, weren't we? You were all quite young. Was when we were year 12, I reckon we were.
Yeah,
2013, I reckon it was, wasn't it?
That was 2013, yeah.
I remember you being pretty nervous the day before because we all had like a free or something. I think we all just like drove down to West Gambier where the grand final was to see like what they were doing, like getting the ground ready and stuff. And you were like shitting bricks from memory.
It was still pretty green then, like skinny little kid. I think I only played a half. I actually got trod on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Nick Blackett from North, it was accidental, but like I was sort of getting in and trying to get the ball, and he just, like his foot, he just like got to stop my arm, and like my arm just blew up, like little brittle bones back then. Like I
didn't drink enough milk, mate.
Nah, I probably didn't, but I don't drink much milk, to be fair. That was it. I remember for some reason we were sitting on fucking those white chairs instead of sitting on the bench. I don't know what the go was.
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that actually.
But yeah,
so did you pull yourself off, or that sounded like really badly? Did you take yourself off the ground, or did the coach realise there was something wrong with you?
No, I had to come off, and then it was just fucked.
Yeah.
I couldn't really do anything. Couldn't really move my arm, and just had this massive sort of lump. It's all black, and don't know how I didn't break my arm, to be fair, but
Yeah. I'm
and
pretty lucky, I guess.
we were getting pumped, and then that was it. I'd sort of just end up sitting there. So I only played a half that year, but
So, like, were you like pretty down for a while after that?
oh, well, we were never expected to be in that grand final. To be fair, that year, and we were pretty young, and North were just a cut above it anyway. So I think we lost by 90-something points. Like,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I
big
think
loss.
the game was probably well over when I came off. So
Yeah, so it's pretty like disappointing for you. Not your first grand final. You were pretty young, like you wouldn't have been 18 yet. Went off injured, and you also got pumped. Like that would have been pretty. Did it kind of? Which way did it go? Did it kind of like push you down to where you kind of like question, oh, like I want to play footy? Like, did it bring you down, or were you more so like the other way, where it's like, nah, like come back out next year stronger. Let's win this. Like I've got a taste for it now. I've played in a granny. Like, which way did you go?
I was probably more thinking like this is pretty cool to experience something like this at this age, because I know that lots of people always say people played 20, 30 years and don't get to play in one at all. And
Yeah.
to be around the mark when I think we finished third, fourth that year, and we didn't beat South all year, and then we beat them at North to get in, and I think we sort of played our grand final then.
Yeah.
We'll surprise ourselves to be actually there.
That would have been like a pretty good feeling to win like a prelim to get into a grand final, like beat a team that you probably shouldn't have beat. That would have been a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, no, I remember that day at North. It was good. I was playing in the midfield that day, and sort of got some pretty big name players at South, and I was just a kid and sort of was getting tight there at the end and played my role. And when the sign went, it was like, holy shit, we're playing in the granny.
Yeah.
And probably shouldn't be. And yeah. It's got to think a long time ago, but
Yeah.
10 years ago.
10 years ago now, yeah. And who was the coach of West at that time?
Yeah, still Hooker.
He was Hooker? Yeah.
Keith Ransom, yeah.
Like, so, how'd you find his style of coaching? Like, we'll touch on all your coaches and all the differences, but, like, what was his, I guess, style of gameplay and how he kind of brought his message along to the players?
Oh, can't really remember too much, but all I know is that I definitely wouldn't be the footballer I am now if it wasn't for Keith Ransom. Like obviously, I had talent, and he just backed me in and believed in me. And there was 2012. He just said, like, obviously West had lost a fair few players after winning those 2 premierships, and he just said to me, "Look, half forward flank, rotate in the midfield. Like you're probably gonna get that chance all year. Like we want to stick with you, give you the opportunity, and like." Yeah, geez, it takes you a good 30 plus games to get used to playing A grade, I think.
Yeah, especially like big bodies is kind of like the big thing in it too. Like getting tackled and keeping shouldered by A graders is fucking different than playing under 14s, under 16s.
Yeah, I guess you just got to be smart. And like I was lucky enough that I never got hurt because I was smart. Like just all about where you put your body and read the play and stuff. But Keith was he was good for my time at West. Like I really enjoyed the time with Keith, like even with the juniors when we spoke often and he looked after me, and he's can't really remember much how we played, like the style or stuff, but him and I remember him and Mick Winterfield sat me down a few times and told me about some of my off-field antics. Just I was a bit young.
Pull your head in a bit, was it?
To behave a little bit, but like I said, I wouldn't be the footballer I am today without Keith.
So he obviously had like firm belief that he wanted to like blood a lot of younger guys. Like when you're playing, 4 or 5 blokes that are 18 or under in a grade grand final, obviously shows that he believed in you guys to be able to like hang with the big boys, but also that he wanted to develop, I guess, you guys for years to come. So he would have been like pretty, like was not, I guess, single you guys out at training and stuff, but did he kind of like put any extra time in with you guys or anything that you remember because you were younger, or did he just kind of be like, yep, you're training with the big boys, you're one of them now?
Good question. I think he was definitely involved with the junior side of things, and I remember him coming to games and stuff on that was back when juniors were Sundays, so you'd play under 18, fill in for under 18s on Sunday, and then eventually play A grade, and then you'd play 14s or 16 on the Sunday. But I remember Keith and getting a few of the A grade boys to come out and watch, so they were actively involved. And then 2013 was when all the leagues sort of changed. We lost Western Border, lost all those teams.
Yeah.
And so the age group changed, which kept me in the juniors, although I'd played A grade all year. 2012, I played A grade all year, Saturday, and under 16s on the Sunday.
Shit, big commitment.
Then Keith just said to me in 2013, like, you're just playing A grade. And I was like, $50 a game, fucking oath.
Yeah, so you were happy with that? Like, you didn't care you weren't playing juniors anymore? You were happy to focus on A's, or?
Oh, well, yeah, I wanted to play A grade, yeah. And I got dropped for one game. I got hurt. I hurt my shoulder in A grade, and then I played junior interleague, and I don't think they were too happy, so I got dropped for next game because they thought I probably should have had the week off. But then someone pulled out and ended up playing under 17s and A grade, and that was the only game I played of juniors that year.
Yeah, okay.
So I definitely listened to what Keith had to say.
Yeah. Was that his final year as coach?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. So I guess like you probably won't remember now, it's 10 years ago, but like, do you remember like being disappointed or kind of shocked that he wasn't coaching, like because he was still young and green? Like, were you like, oh yeah, he's going to be around here forever, or did you kind of know that coaches only kind of coach 2-3 years in country footy and kind of just move on? Because it is quite a common thing. We don't see a lot of coaches, especially mid-south east, that coach longer than 3 years anyway.
Yeah, I can't really remember how I felt, to be honest. Obviously, the next year, 2014, I played 3 games at West, and then I left and went to the Bay. So
yeah, so and it was Strady that was coaching West at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember we were there at the same time, and I hadn't played footy for a long time. I did like pretty much 3 months of pre-season, and then I got quite sick with like my blood pressure bullshit and all that, and then I come back March and all that, and the big coach had already been signed and all that, blah, blah. I didn't know who I was, so I didn't get a game or whatever, and still like loved all the West boys. But I remember I left after, I reckon, the Good Friday game when like West, I reckon it's the only Good Friday game they ever did when West hosted. I think they wanted it to become like a marquee thing, but unfortunately it didn't take off.
Was that the Phil Mahovic's game against East or something?
Yeah, I reckon it was. Yeah, on the Good Friday there. And then I went out.
I reckon that was my last game.
Yeah, well, I went out to Nangers the following week, and then I remember you talking to me. I reckon it was the week after, because you know that I'd moved to Nangers and you were saying, oh yeah, I'm thinking of coming to like mid-south east. Want to go to Port Mac, because you had connections at Port Mac, didn't you? Like grandfather or something from Port Mac, Allendale or something?
Yeah, well, my grandparents lived in Port Mac, and I grew up at Allendale, and my dad played, it was 270 something, close to 280 games at Port Mac. So
yeah, right, I didn't know that.
My grandpa's a life member, and my grandma's a life member of the netball club, I think. So, and got relatives down there, and at that time, lost some relatives. And my grandpa around that time. Yeah. As well, so there's a little bit going on.
And you were set to go to Port Mac, like when you knew you were leaving West?
I always knew I'd end up at Port Mac, but I definitely didn't think I would have been at Port Mac that early.
Yeah, okay.
I probably thought I was going to stay at West longer than I did.
Yeah. So what was it like one kind of decision that kind of you made to go from West to Port Mac, or was it kind of like a culmination of different things that kind of made that decision in the end?
Oh, definitely a combination, like those off-field things I just said, and then a few things that went on that I wasn't loving it. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing for me was I didn't love the 6 teams.
Yeah.
I played it obviously in 2013, played it, and then I know I just didn't really enjoy. It just felt like you'd be playing North this week, and then you play someone else, and then you're playing North again.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the competition in general was kind of just not really enticing to anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of things built up, but that was probably the one the main reason.
Yeah.
Wanted to go play where my dad played, and grandpa and that. So.
Yeah, and it's pretty much been like, it's kind of crazy to think about that you've been at, you know, next year you'll be at Port Mac for 10 years. It's pretty crazy to think you've been there that long. You had like a pretty, like, fair to say, like, storied career at Port Mac. You've now won a flag in 2021. We'll touch on that later when we get into more of that season. But you also played one or two losing grand finals before then for Port Mac. Just the one.
Just the one.
And
in
then one at West.
2015, I believe.
Yeah. So like that hurt a bit, like playing in two losing grand finals within 2-3 years of each other, or
well, like I said before, the one at West we weren't expected to be in it. So that was, I guess I was happy for the experience. But the one in 2015 definitely hurt because we had the team and we beat Mount Burr by about 4 goals to get in.
Yeah.
And then we just Mount Burr, obviously a really good club.
Yeah.
Know how to win on the day. We just weren't good enough, but definitely felt like it was a missed opportunity and that like we should have won that one.
So that one hurt more.
That one fucking hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it hurt when we won in 2021. Like it wasn't really a feeling of we won. It was a feeling of relief. For me. Like,
you finally won one.
Like.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, it's hard enough to get yourself in a position to play grand finals and stuff. And to lose two within a close proximity, I could imagine would suck a lot, and then have to wait, 7, 8 years, 5, 6 years to then win a premiership. Like we're in like a fucking long journey to be able to go from there to there at Port Mac anyway.
Yeah, I guess. But like I was saying before, people can play their whole life and not playing a granny, let alone win one. So yeah, I guess now to have won one. Like, looking back. Probably put so much pressure on myself to win one, and so much pressure that probably didn't enjoy it as much as I probably should have. But pretty happy to say I'm a premiership player at Port Mac. It's my family club, I suppose. So.
Yeah,
even though West will always still be my home club, and very grateful.
So are you sad you can't call yourself Port Mac premiership player and a West Gambia premiership player?
I'm a junior West Gambia premiership player.
Yeah, it's something.
And a premiership water boy.
Yeah. The important role, mate. You can't play footy without water boys. So who was your first coach at Port Mac when you moved over in 2014?
James McGregor was coach.
Yeah.
Fellow left footer, great bloke.
Yeah. And how long was he coach for?
He only did it that 1 year, but I reckon he was like, I don't know if he coached in 2011 or not, but he was premiership coach in 2012, coached in 13, 14, and then Leroy Capewell took over in 2015.
Yeah. So
I only had him for that 3/4 of the year that I was there.
Yeah,
in 2014.
So was it like a big jump going from hooker that you'd had for a couple of years to Stratty for only like pre-season, a few games, and then jumping to him? Was it like, were they all complete different coaches, or did it kind of just not really like, you didn't really take note of it, or?
I don't know. I can't really remember much about those few games at West that year, but I remember rocking up to the Bay, and obviously, being from Allendale and Port Mac sort of area, I knew a lot of people, which was good, but I never actually got cleared to begin with, so they played Hadley, and I always remember eating my schnitzel, I couldn't even see it. I fitted in reasonably well. Yeah, I guess I sort of lashed out on the grog a bit. Like, I don't know, looking back now, it must have been a bit going on.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a coping mechanism type thing, like the drinking at that point?
Yeah, probably still is.
Yeah.
I remember played a couple of games of Resi's to begin with, which at that point it was like, I remember when I left West, I was like, I don't give a shit if I play Resis or don't play at all, or just wanted out basically.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I remember being nervous as fuck just to play mid Southeast B grade. It was up at Clangadoo. Drank a shitload of water, shitload of Gatorade. Can quite easily say that B grade game, first game for the Bay, was the most nervous I've ever been for a game of football.
Yeah, did you play it right? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Because obviously you played A's the next week, didn't you? Because you only played
I
one
played
A's.
another game.
Oh, did you?
There was bit of a points problem.
Oh, of course, yeah. I always forget about the bloody point system. Yeah.
So I played 2, and then I played pretty much the rest of the year in A's, and then it was another game where I was the worst performed points player, and then the young hooker came back in from a broken leg, so I had to go out. And he did his hammy straight away, so I come straight back in.
Oh, fuck, that's unlucky.
But no, I played alright in the bees. It's probably I can almost confidently say it was one of the funnest games of footy I've ever played. That B grade game at Clingadoo.
Yeah.
And fuck, we had a pretty good team too. Like,
because they're different. Like I've played both Bs and As in Mid South East, and it is like Bs is like really fun. Like, but it is quite competitive. Obviously in different ways than A's. Obviously skills aren't as good and what have you, but fuck, I wouldn't say it's easy by any stretch of the imagination. Like B's is like still hard hitting. Like you've got tackled or hip and shoulder by someone that plays B, especially one of the big boys. Did you get clean? Do you remember if you got cleaned up or anything dirty like that in your B grade games?
Nah, not really. I remember, I drank so much fluid that game. I got a few touches in the first quarter, and then I had to come off because it was spewed, spewed fucking like straight purple Powerade. And then I was fucked on the bench, and then they didn't really know what to do, and then I guess I must have overhydrated or something. I said I'm all good, go back on the forward pocket, ran out there, purple Powerade all over the ground again. But I don't know. I think that was just all nerves. But I remember you used to have this thing like I'll admit it, like a little bit scared maybe about Burr.
Yeah.
And that was who we had the next week. Like, I guess I had a bit of a reputation for being real dirty and stuff. And
yeah.
That was my second game for the Bay, and I don't think I really played that well that game, but it wasn't that bad. Back then it was probably still a little bit dirty, but now it's don't get away with anything anymore.
Well, I mean, I didn't even notice anything like too crazy. Like I said earlier, like you and I obviously jumped over to Mid South East pretty much like a week apart of that, and I didn't notice really anything different. Especially like I played my whole year of my first year at Nangies in the B grade. Ended up playing finals. Like my first and only game of finals was for Nangies in the B grade day. It was pretty insane. So when you were saying that you rarely get to play grand finals, let alone win them, like I've only ever played in one final and we lost it. And even that hurt heaps, to be honest, because we beat Coongarong the week before to get in. And I thought, we're actually a chance to win our first final here because we beat them. But they had a couple of players come back. I don't know if they were coming back from A's or injury. I don't really remember. But they ended up beating us by about 26 points or something like that. And it sucked because that's still the only finals appearance I've ever had. And I look back, it's 9 years ago. I probably won't play footy again. But and even though that sucked for me playing B grade, and I wasn't even as committed to it. I didn't play footy as long as what you did in a row. Like I said, I had taken quite a bit of time off from footy. So you lost 2015, 2016. Do you remember how you guys went? Were you competing again, or did you drop off?
2016, we played in a semi at Clingadoo and lost to Tant. We were up at half time, I think. So we were still competitive. Who won it in 2016? The Burr might have won it again.
Yeah, I'm kind of fuzzy on who. I remember the Bird obviously did win a lot, in a row at some point.
Just while it's on my mind, I specifically remember
here we go.
Watching B grade one day at Port Mac and our good mate Starkey.
I know this story. Yeah,
you chased him down, swung him around, got him holding the ball.
That was like one of my probably only ever full fucking chase down tackles. I actually remember following him for a long period of time, and I'm not, I'm not a quick guy. But off the first 30, 40 metres of a 100-metre sprint, I'm always at the front, and then I just get overtaken.
And you played A grade and took a mark on me one game.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that's probably one of my best ever footy memories. Is when I played. I don't know what year it was, but I played. I think majority of the year in the A grade actually, and I had played on you and Tyler only a week apart. Where Tyler was playing at Clingadoo, he's now back at Clingadoo. Our good friend Tyler. I took a few marks on him one game, then I took one on you. But your reaction was funny because his was completely different. I got laced out, typically. They were hitting me on the bloody tit. It was so different playing A grade. And then on you read the ball wrong, and I probably guessed it, or I like to say I read it right. And I marked it, and your reaction is, fuck, Goose took a mark on me. It was so different reaction than Tyler's. Tyler was he's like, oh, you're doing pretty well, Goose. Taking a few marks on me, mate. I need to man up on you. You were the complete other side.
I reckon that might have been the week I got dropped.
Yeah, I don't think so. I remember that day Clayton got pumped like 200 points. It wasn't a good day, but yeah, bro, because you come to rest on me. Because you're playing mid and then you come and rest. I'm like, oh fuck, you're walking up, big grin. You have the big Rob Hind grin on your face, walking up to me, and I'm like, oh, here we go.
No, I remember it was on the flank there in front of the viewing area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. I think it's the only mark I've ever taken on you. I don't think I've ever taken a mark on Waters. I could have. Rob knows this story. I could have killed him one time. He was following the fly of the footy, and I was running towards it. And if I jumped, I would have absolutely cleaned him up. And I saw him coming, and I thought, I can't do it. So I literally just kind of sidestepped him, and I don't know if I hip and shouldered him or did something. He didn't really feel it. He's a big dude. But that was only, I didn't really interact with Rob much. But funny story with Waters, I was playing on him once, and this is like, a lot of people think, if you know, Michael Waters plays Congarong, very introverted bloke, good friend of ours. He ripped my underwear in a tackle. And he laughed about it. He literally was chasing me down. I grabbed the footy, and I remember I was like trying to look for a handball, and he's kind of like grabbed me one hand at the top of the shirt and then one on the shorts, and he's like yanking me, and we both just hear this. I'm like, I handballed. I'm like, I reckon he just ripped my underwear, and he's doing like his giggle that he does, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever had another player rip my underwear, but yeah, it's one of my best mates rip my underwear in a footy field.
I got a couple of stories about those boys. Right?
Yeah, bring them up. Let's do it.
That photo that you might use.
Yeah. Young days.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure after I kicked that, Waters tackled me without the ball. And I sort of turned around to have a bit of a go.
Yeah. Did you know it was him or not?
Nah.
Oh.
Nah. Oh, Mick reckons I turned around with a clenched fist ready to smack him.
That's what he told me.
I wouldn't have done that. I turned around, then I was like, oh, fuck. Just started laughing.
So if it wasn't him, what would you have thrown, a punch or not?
Probably not. I'm not really. Can't really fight, so.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But then Rob always reckons I tried to break his legs in the same game. Tried to smother him, and yeah, he reckons I took his legs out. But
at least a footy action, wasn't it? If it was a smother,
yeah,
wasn't it?
going for the ball. Took his legs. Who cares?
But if it was fucking AFL these days, you probably would have got like 6 weeks, probably. Because even though it's a footy action, who the fuck knows?
Fuck the AFL.
We'll touch on it a bit later too. But I guess like, because a lot of us, we've all played for like different clubs and all that. Jumping ahead to COVID year, you play for South, which I never ever thought in a million years I'd ever see you in a South Gambia again. So obviously it's different year. It was COVID year. They were doing that weird different league where there was all teams from different leagues just so people could play footy, I guess. Was it Rob that asked you to play for South, or did someone else reach out to you that year?
I don't think I actually got asked.
Just rock up.
I was working with Caney at the time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kane, so
that's the connection.
And Munners, Colby was playing there, and I worked with him for like a year or so. When I finished my apprenticeship and was still working for Cookie, Munners was the apprentice there, so I knew Munners, and I knew a few of the boys, and I think I just wanted to play footy. Like,
didn't want to take the year off.
If there was an opportunity, like I wanted to play, so I don't think I got asked. I think I just said to Caney, if there's can I come play if there's an opportunity, like I don't want to kick anyone out or whatever, and then just so happened that I think I just said, I'll come to training, and if I don't play, who gives a shit?
And that'll be pretty special for you to be able to actually, because you made the grand final, unfortunately lost to Mandela. I think you guys are clearly the best team all year, weren't you? Like ladder wise, or you're top 2 at least?
No, I think it was pretty tight. I think.
Yeah, it was pretty even competition because I remember watching most of those games actually.
Mandela was obviously the team to beat, but you actually come on that bus trip, you and Tiller. Went to Mandela and knocked them off, surprisingly, up there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that was as terms as a spectator, that was honestly one of the best quality country footy games I've ever seen in terms of like tackling, tactics, kicking, marking. It was pretty good to watch as a spectator, I have to say. I do remember that day vividly. I don't know his name, but that number 5 for Mandela. Like they were just literally
big fella, big hingio.
Yeah, they were literally just bombing it to the wing, and he was in a pack of players. He'd mark it like 9 times out of 10. It was pretty incredible to see. But like you had a wicked game, Rob had a wicked game. We all thought Rob broke his nose.
He was ugly before.
I reckon one of the only times he got a hard ball get was when
that game, you're right. That game, I remember playing that game and just like the adrenaline and the feeling it was a good game. And then
Yeah.
the bus trip was still obviously COVID times with restrictions and shit. And
Yeah.
remember pulling up to Bordertown. The bus driver pulled up, thought we were all just going to the bottle. And
We ended up drinking there, didn't
all
we?
gone in, had a couple on the wood.
Yeah.
And he's like, where the fuck are they?
That was a long bus trip home too, because we kept stopping and shit. That was a long bus trip.
that was one of the best bus trips I've ever had, I reckon.
But that's like, so do you find like that's one of the big parts of playing footy too, is like the social side of it too, not just actual playing the game?
Oh, socially, 100%. I think Mid-South East is a little bit different to Western Border because obviously Western Border, you got the 4 teams in the one town and it's a little bit different, but Mid-South East and K&T clubs are community based. Like,
Yeah.
it's not all about the footy and the netball. It's about the day.
Yeah.
And why not at the Bay? Like, people will come for Thursday night teas. It's just part of their life. Like,
Yeah.
it's more about community. Obviously, you want to be successful and have fun and stuff, but
Yeah.
socially, 100% like that. Some old guy that might be socially, that's his social outing.
Yeah.
He's going to the home game.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that was the thing I noticed about Nangas. Like, that's while I'll always sing like Nangwaro's praises, as a township and as a footy club, a lot of like the townspeople, like you said, it was kind of like they treated it like it was their local drinking hole, because it was. There was nowhere else to go and drink pub wise and stuff in Nangas, and we'd always have like the club rooms would be packed on a Saturday night after a home game. Like, we'd always have, obviously, our team, the opposing team, and then we'd also have the locals coming. It was just packed. It was great atmosphere. It was literally like being at a pub. Like, I didn't really go to pubs when it was home game because I just stayed at the footy club. So that's like big part of it, is that's what people look forward to. A lot of people don't have a lot of things to look forward to in life, but they, get to go down to a game on Saturday. Like, even if they want to help out, like a lot of great volunteers in footy. Like, well, footy wouldn't happen without volunteers. So do timekeeping, whatever. I know it's different at other clubs where players do it and then what have you. But at Nangwarry, I never had to do like anything unless I put my hand up for it. Like, locals they wanted to help out because they wanted to be part of the club, and that was like a fantastic thing. Speaking of other teams and all that, is there one team that you hate playing against for whatever reason? And is there always a team you kind of look forward to playing for whatever reason?
Oh, I don't know. Don't know what to answer.
Don't want to get in trouble here. Well, what club do you kind of, or change the question, what club do you kind of always know that it's going to be a tough game, either physically, not always on the scoreboard, but as opposed to you always know you're in for a physical game. You're not going to just walk over a team. Is there one team that stands out?
Oh, not really. I think you could look at teams and think you hate people and clubs as much as you want, but I definitely noticed a difference over the years since moving to Mid-South East that it's a whole different ball game off field. Like,
yeah,
I specifically remember my first game against the Burr, and this particular player, good player, Gun, he slapped me. I was 18. I got slapped, and he.
What, in a contest or like an
I think
actual?
I had the ball. He just slapped me. I gave away a 3 and 50, like right around the ear. My ear was ringing.
Yeah, right.
I was just like, "You fucking dirty bastard!" Like,
yeah,
thinking this guy's a fuckhead. And I got called into the interleague team as an under-21.
Yeah.
And I went to training and I just thought, I just remember this bloke. I'm like, fucking dirty bastard. And then he just, he made a deal out of it to, come sit next to me and eat tea with me in the club and, talk to me and get to know me a bit. And then that was probably a turning point in, realising that what happens on the field, doesn't necessarily define who you are.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't like you as a person either. It's just
some people just got white line fever and competitive, and for some reason I've always remember that. And he's gone on. He's won a fuckload of premierships. He's gone back into Western Border and coached premierships, and I think he's come back to the Burr. But that was good. That was a good memory I have of opposition. But I don't know. I've never lost to Nangers. never lost to Congrong and only lost to Glencoe twice.
Yeah, right.
But, yeah, obviously in Western Border, you can just say the old North Gambia thing.
Yeah. That's kind of like a cliche joke, though, isn't it? Everyone just says North.
And then in Mid-South East, everyone just says Glencoe's the North Gambia Mid-South East.
Yeah, that's a common thing as well.
But in saying that, it's not necessary about clubs.
There's good people in every club.
I get on really well with a couple of blokes at Glencoe. So over the years, I've really enjoyed playing there and then going in having beer with blokes like Tory Weaver. He's someone I get on really well with.
And he played at West Gambia previously too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Part of that
I can't
premiership
remember
team,
if I played with him or not. I don't think I played with him, but he was there. He played in 2011.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just enjoy playing footy. I don't really think I have a favourite. Obviously, favourite games when you're playing the top teams.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, we played Robe. Was really looking forward to it because they were top, we're second. I like playing Robe actually, just in general because you don't really know them.
Because they're so far away. Yeah.
And I think that's better. When you're playing against people you know all the time, it's really easy to get under each other's skin and
you know what
flair and
you know what ticks them off.
And over the years that Robe, I'd say we've had a reasonably good relationship off the field. Most of the Port Mac people generally stay up there and had some pretty good nights up there. So
the right blokes are wicked. My wife and I got bogged at the grand final at Clangadoo last year. We had a few road boys help us get the car out when we were bogged. They didn't even question. They just come over and said, "Oh, we'll help you get it out." So things like that. It's like I said, there's good people at every club, and there might be one bad egg at every club, but that also adds to it as well, doesn't it? It's always makes it more exciting when you're playing against a team that might have a sniper or someone a bit dirty, whatever.
Yeah. So the answer is I don't really can't
Although
really say I have a favourite or least favourite.
Although
who cares?
You'd love beating your mates, wouldn't you? You'd love beating Congrong and Clangadoo, wouldn't you? Get one over the boys.
Oh, it's always good beating Congrong, but one day we're going to lose to them.
And you know they're gonna.
Hopefully, I'm not playing.
I was gonna say, they'll hold it over your head if it does happen when you're playing.
I don't really think there's any. I think Clangadoo and Port Mac get on pretty well. Always, never really been too many issues there.
That's the thing.
Two competitive clubs. I know a few people there. And
that's the thing.
I played cricket with and stuff, and you have a bit of a laugh. There's a few stories there. Bloody weapon, Lockie Jones. Played cricket with him, premiership teammate in cricket. Someone whacked me down the bay one day. Whacked me good, and I turned around and chased him and gave him one in the gut. And had a bit to say, and he goes, "What the fuck did I do?" Turns out he didn't do anything.
Oh, it was someone else.
Someone else got me. I was just gone for him. But nah, it's good. I just enjoy playing anyone. So
going back to you're at South, you obviously said that you would have loved to call yourself a premiership player at multiple clubs like Port Mac and West. Does that grand final loss in that 2020 COVID year? It probably wouldn't hurt as much, I guess. But does it still hurt that you could have won something with your mates?
I would have claimed it fucking 100%. I thought we should have won too. We were there taking it serious that year.
That's a lot of teams.
It did hurt. It definitely hurt losing, and I don't really care what anyone says. If I had won that, I would have said I'm going to go to premiership player. 100%.
Yeah. And that would have been pretty special. Obviously, winning with your good mates like Waters and Rob would have been pretty special. They've known for fucking ages, as we already touched on. Oh,
definitely, it would have been pretty cool. Could quite confidently say, and I know a lot of people that played that year quite confidently say it was one of the funnest years of footy they've ever had.
Yeah, because I guess it was so different because all these different players from different teams, players from Millicent and Port Mac and Congrong and all that, that would never play with each other. I guess it's such a different dynamic. Would have been pretty fun, I would say.
Oh yeah, you play with your arch rivals, and I know that there's a couple of blokes from other Western Border clubs that played at South, and that you would say probably really dislike.
Yeah.
These people that were all of a sudden their teammates.
Yeah.
It was fun. It's funny how I was saying about the professionalism, not drinking and stuff like that.
That was very much a party there.
That's the first Thursday night before the first game. I had to leave my car there.
So it's completely different to what you said earlier about
Yeah.
not drinking at all Thursday,
Me and
Friday.
Tenny ended up going to Max that night.
But on a Thursday night, look out.
Yeah, had to get Kane, his apprentice, we were working at Tarpena. Tano had to come pick me up in the morning, take me out to South to pick me ute up to go to work on Friday.
That's when you know you've had a decent Thursday night, is when you have to pick your car up for Friday.
Oh, it was good fun. It was a bit different out there at South, having tap beer.
Yeah.
It's fucking dangers. Everyone would sort of go home, and it was always just me and Cow Saffron at the end, punching down another pint.
So I guess jumping into what we already briefly touched on, that you finally won your first premiership in 2021 with Port Mac. A year after obviously losing at South in the COVID year league. What was, if you remember, what was the first emotion you felt when the final siren rang when you won the premiership?
Yeah, relief.
Was relief the first thing? Yeah.
It was a bit of a blur. I had to sort of look at the video to remember what happened. Like, I remember the siren, and then I believe it was just like me and Timmy and Slatsy were sort of in the area with each other, and she was just an all big pile on. But
yeah,
it was more like, thank fuck, finally won one, I guess. And then, obviously you're happy, but yeah, instant sort of feeling. It was just relief.
Yeah,
I guess. But
and so your premiership coach is someone we both know quite well, Simo Merritt. I played under him. Not that I played an A grade game for him, but obviously he took training stuff 2014 when he was A grade coach of Nangers, and I always rated him as a coach. And I do remember when he signed on as Port Mac. I think it was because it was before COVID, wasn't it? He signed on as the coach, and obviously didn't get to coach.
yeah, fuck, he had us going that year. Like, fuck, we were flying. And
Yeah.
And then COVID happened and sort of a bit of a bump in the road for us. But yeah, end of 2019 we signed him.
Yeah. So his actual first proper season was the year you won the flag, 2021.
Correct.
Yeah. What was your expectation, I guess, of when you found out that he signed on? Because he had success at Penola in the B grade, if I'm not mistaken, with the coaching over there. What was the do you remember the expectations of?
Oh, obviously I knew Simo, and Simo was a great bloke. I was very fond of him before, and I'd seen him in the club a little bit, and I didn't really, for some reason, I didn't really click as to what was going on. And I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense now, doesn't it? But nah, I was obviously real happy with that, and then obviously we got Kev as assistant that year, and it was, I guess it was good to have some outsiders. I think sometimes, nothing against club people, it says that fine line, sometimes club people probably don't get the respect that they deserve from their players. Like, if you were to have a current player turns into a coach.
Is that because relationships already there, kind of friends?
The players probably don't give the coach as much respect as they deserve or what they should do. So to have outsiders come in and set their own expectations, and where you players sort of have to reset, and you're not just walking into spots and things change. It was definitely, I was pretty happy I was happy with what Simo had to say from the start too when I sort of spoke to him. But
was there a light bulb moment at all, during the season or even in the pre-season, where you're thinking, fuck, this bloke could lead us to a premiership, the team we've got? What was the earliest you kind of thought that, or did you kind of just want to focus week by week?
Me personally, very, very negative minded.
Glass half empty.
Yeah. I don't know. That was, more of don't fucking get your hopes up thing. Don't set yourself up to be disappointed. But I knew that we had the list to do it, and then we were winning games, and we had 6 to 8 blokes out majority of that year.
Yeah.
And then Will McDonald broke his leg in pre-season. He sort of come back at the end, and then we just... I guess I sort of felt when we had our full proper team, we were a good chance. But as you know, you could be the best team on paper, the best team all year. It doesn't matter a shit if you don't fucking rock up on the day.
That's all right.
Like you could finish fourth and win the flag. Like
Yeah.
it's all about.
Can only take one bad game to fuck up your year too.
That's
Like if
right.
you're losing a prelim final, your season's over, and you could have
But-
won every game all year.
Definitely thought that Simo had us going in the right direction, 100%. And as it turned out, the grand final team, we only played 2 games of football together. That side only ever, and obviously that's the only 2 games they'll ever play together.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty amazing stat actually. So do you put it more down to your recruiting and like the group coming together, or I guess a mixture maybe of Simo's coaching and the list? Like what do you credit to you winning the flag that year?
Oh, multiple things. Like obviously you got to credit the coaching staff and the club for recruiting the coaches, and I don't know, I can't remember what players we recruited. Probably should, but the leadership group and blokes like that, and obviously hard work and dedication. I think sort of since probably 2010, Port Mac sort of been like, they've been around the mark. They should have won more premierships.
Yeah,
should have won more premierships, 100%. So, I guess it's just people hanging around and sticking it out and going through the hard times, and then get a few new players, a few fresh faces, coaches. Yeah, like I said, everything has to come together. And like, don't get me wrong, we did the hard work, 100%.
Yeah.
Simo and Kev put us through our paces, and just so happened to be that we got it all together at the right time.
Yeah. It was obviously would have been pretty disappointing, deflating. Obviously, the following season, last year, you had a lot of injuries, and did you have like a few players leave as well on top of the injuries?
Pretty much lost half our side, but
yeah, they've been pretty
probably
big gut punch.
Probably a bit deflating to begin with, but then by the end of it, like we were 4 or 5 kicks out of playing another grand final, we're losing half our side. So looking back on it, I was probably pretty proud of the group. And
yeah,
like if we had made that grand final with those conditions, like most people would probably say we would have won again.
Yeah, yeah.
But
it's pretty shitty conditions, wasn't it? It's like muddy. Is it Clangadoo? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I didn't go, but
yeah, I remember it being like it was raining literally all day. Obviously, we all know the ground at Clangadoo isn't the best. It's very muddy.
But Clangadoo thoroughly deserved everything they got last year. Like they've been the team to beat for a while. So
very
it
impressive.
was always going to be pretty hard to knock them off. So to get within about 4 goals, they beat us by 95, 96 points both time we played them.
Yeah.
During the season, and then to on their home deck, we were about 4 kicks away. Like I wouldn't say it was deflating. It was probably proud from where we come from at the start of the year.
Yeah.
Just to know that we lost that many players, people retired, gone back to their other clubs. That the people we've got around are still around the mark, and it's just add a few into that, and all of a sudden we're right up there again. So
yeah, and I guess too you would have been pretty excited with what happened post-season last year. New coach, quite a few good gun recruits coming in, building on what you just said, that you kind of had not a fairy tale year because you didn't win the flag, but you probably overperformed on paper, I guess, with all the injuries and departures you had. What was your first thought when Josh Wood was signed on as coach?
Yeah, I was surprised, to be honest, but then, I sort of remember him from school.
Yeah.
But he was a Northie in my eyes.
Yeah.
But once I sort of sat down with him, me and Timmy and Wade sort of drove over and went and caught up with him and his wife and his daughter at the time. Really happy with what he had to say. So and then obviously a few other recruits, a few young fellas. It was exciting. Like we got Munners. Munners is a pretty good mate. Like obviously with work, and then that year at South, the COVID year, it was good because he's into me about going to play for South, and I'm like, why don't you come play for the Bay? And then all of a sudden, it just sort of, here I am in my shed with Munners and Benny McGregor, fucking signing him up.
Yeah.
So, obviously it's always exciting. Change is always exciting.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like what Simo and Kev done for us, like, you can't thank them enough. We won a premiership, so
Yeah, and like you said, as we've already stated, that especially mid South East and Western Border as well, that rarely do you get a coach more than 2 or 3 years. Sorry, and for what, Simo and Kev accomplished in those 2 years. I mean, you won a premiership, and like you said, weren't that far away from making a granny. So I mean, it's pretty successful 2-year tenure as coach and coaches, I guess, as coaching staff. Did you have expectations after all the signings and stuff, and you thought, okay, we can now get back into really winning the flag again?
Oh, I definitely think we're in the window again, but
Yeah.
pardon me. Like I said, like, it's hard work, dedication, and you could be the best team on paper, best team all year. You got to get there, and then everything's got to go right. But obviously, we're going all right, but you just got to stay in your lane, stay focused, and then get there, and whatever happens, happens. So, we're obviously up there this year, but
It's pretty hotly contested in Mid South East this year, isn't it?
it's pretty tight. Like,
Yeah. No clear favourite, really, is there?
probably Clangadoo is probably still the favourite. I think they're still a very strong club,
But
very
probably
good
the
team.
gap isn't as big though, is it? As opposed to like last year or
Nah, I don't. Well, it's most years the top 5 or 6 pretty tight. You've always probably always got the 2 or 3 teams fighting for that top 2 second chance, and then a couple of teams fighting out for 4th. But it's tight. So hopefully we can just get everyone fit, and we'll see what happens. But we'll be playing finals.
Talk about like the competition and stuff. Obviously, big news. Nangas won their first game last year in, I don't know how long it was. 2014 was my first year, and I remember we beat Robe.
I'm pretty sure my brother played in that. 4 Nangas played in it at Nangas against Robe.
It was against Robe. I remember that day vividly, and that was the last game we won. Then, obviously, what was your thought of, because obviously everyone kind of roots for your underdog, and you want every team to be competitive in every league. What was your first thought when you found out that Nangas won last year?
That was this year. I was going to say when they beat Congo. I was
another win this year. 2 wins in 2 years is pretty good.
It's obviously good for the club. Like Nang Warriors are still, like, despite their on-field, like, they're still a strong club. And Port MacDonald and Nang Warrior, like to think, got a really good relationship.
There's a bit of history there, if I'm not mistaken, like playing in grand finals and stuff. In the past, I'm pretty sure, or finals at least. I remember hearing stories in the 90s about hotly contested finals games and stuff. So there's obviously that.
Obviously you don't like to see clubs down the bottom, and it's really, obviously happy for Nangas to win. Would have been good to be up there that night, I reckon, and get on the piss. It's always good, and then obviously just to see them improve, like they nearly knocked us off last year. That was pretty scary, actually, but ended up getting the job done. But it's good to see them improve, like, because a lot of people around the southeast sort of real negative about things and stuff. Full credit to them, like, sticking it out all the time. And Nangas is a good, strong club, so I reckon they've still got a chance to win a couple of games this season as well. So I hope they do.
Fingers crossed to get another win. Always, like I said, I'll always be a
Just not
Nangas
against
person.
us.
I guess now we've kind of covered your career and stuff. We touched on talking about leagues and competition and stuff. There's obviously the big, well, I guess they're not really rumours. It's just, I guess, an idea that's been put out by the Sandful that we might be having completely different competitions next year. 2 leagues, I guess, in this area instead of 3. Obviously, Western Border pretty much no longer existing as such. I guess, what's your opinion overall on that? And I guess it's just on this supposed 2 leagues we're going to have. Like, what's your opinion on? Do you think one league's going to suffer, or one's going to benefit from it, or they're both going to suffer, both going to benefit?
My opinion is they've been saying things are going to happen for 10 years. Obviously, the last few years it's grown a few legs, but typical Southeast. Certain people say certain things. This is happening, blah, blah, blah. nothing's yet to happen.
Yeah.
I'll believe it when I see it when it's in front of me.
Yeah. Well, obviously.
I'm leaning towards, like, obviously it's inevitable. Something is going to happen, but
Yeah.
I don't know. SNFL put through these proposals. Some people aren't happy. They reject it. Like, is it going to stay the same again?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the proposal they put forward, I didn't think was necessarily that bad. And like the travelling side of things, like, it's nothing better than a bus trip.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like carpooling.
Obviously, there's going to be teething problems and stuff, but at the end of the day, didn't Western Border come out and say that 6 teams is sustainable? So
yeah,
if it's sustainable, Mid South East is happy, KNT is happy.
Why change it?
Don't change it yet, like, because at the end of the day, if Mid South East were to join with Western Border clubs, Mid South East clubs will be the first to fold. But if Mid South East stay as it is, they're not going to fold.
Yeah.
So, and obviously there's some problems. KNT is still the strongest league by far.
Yeah.
But they got like 170 odd people coming from Adelaide.
Yeah. Well,
so,
yeah.
And there's probably got some clubs up there that are rumoured to be close to merging and stuff.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, the VCFL, they just put their foot down, took those Vic teams away from Western Border at the end of 2012.
Yeah.
The sample should have just said Penola, Naracoorte into Western Border. It would have been Mid South East would have had 9, KNT would have had 8 or 9, Western Border would have had 8.
All kind of even.
Would have been 3 even leagues, and honestly, they could still do that. They could still just.
It seems like the proposal that we've seen, I don't know if it's official or not, but it was kind of circulating on Facebook that Western Border will pretty much no longer exist. A few of the teams would go to Mid South East, a few of the teams would go to KNT. I did find it quite weird in this supposed proposal that East Gambier was the only Mount Gambier based team to go to Mid South East, whereas the other 3 would go to KNT. I don't know what their justification would be for that, I guess, unless East asked for that for any reason.
Don't quote me on this, but I've been told from East Gambier people that they wanted to come into Minnesota. They applied last year along with Cassidy, and they got knocked back. But who knows? Like I said, I don't believe anything anyone says to me because, seems like a lot of rubbish coming out of Mount Gambier-based clubs, and Mid-South East clubs don't know anything about it, and then KNT just say get stuffed.
Yeah.
We're not doing it. Honestly, I don't know what will happen, but that proposed one where Mid-South East gets East and Caston, I thought that's probably a good result for Mid-South East, to be honest. Like Caston would fit in the Mid-South East pretty well, especially with the junior structure and stuff. And East would probably benefit because there's probably people that are soft and sooky and don't want to travel. And East might get an influx of Mount Gambier-based players wanting to play for them and would probably be pretty strong, I'd say. But
I guess, do you think that would affect junior footy at all? About, I know quite a few families and stuff that, they only have their kids playing at Mount Gambier-based clubs because it's easy to travel. Do you think that would, not so much kill, but, would that affect local footy at all? Or do you think kids would stop playing because of the travel, every second week?
Oh, well, they do. They're not dedicated.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess...
And neither are the parents.
I guess KNT is obviously a lot further travel. Places like Pathway and what have you. But if you played it, for example, if East did join Mid-South East, they're playing Mount Gambier once every 2 weeks, and then the second week, furthest they would go once a year would be Robe. Is the furthest you go Mid-South East.
Like keep coming back to the community thing, KNT and Mid-South East, got under 11s running around in the morning. That's their weekend,
Yeah.
And the parents, they don't give a shit whether, Port Mac to Robe, what's that, a couple of hours?
Yeah.
They'll take their kids to Robe to play under 11s.
Yeah. That's the thing. There's always going to be people that put up their hand up to get a bus or a carpool or whatever. I don't think that would put a lot of people off, but I have seen online when this supposedly proposal come online was a lot of people coming and saying, I'll be pulling my kids out of footy, they'll be playing soccer instead or whatever. I think, that's a bit rough on the kid. If they want to play footy, there is always ways. There's always going to be people that organise a bus. If that's the case, like I said, you only travel to Robe once a year.
I think, yeah, there's a lot of teething issues if there were changes, and there's so much. It's not just A-grade footy, A-grade netball. There's juniors, travel, blah, blah, blah. But I certainly think Mount Gambier-based clubs are precious.
Yeah.
Saying stuff like that, oh, I'm not going to take them. It's a sign of the times, I think. It's just like, I'm probably lucky that I'm very lucky that I grew up with the parents that I've got that drove me to Adelaide day trips to go play sport.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. They would do anything. Like.
Yeah, I'm the same.
And like,
pretty thankful for that.
I'm not on social media to read these comments, but what you're saying about, I'll take my kids out and play soccer, like, you should, as a parent, you should be willing to do anything for your child.
Yeah.
And like, it's not as though you're going to be travelling to Keith every fucking week.
No, that's right. It's once a year.
Like, so, yeah, I don't know. I think there will be changes, but how they do it, and at the end of the day, they're not going to please everyone.
Well, that's right. You never please everyone.
And I'm sick of hearing about it, to be honest. Like,
well, I guess Western Border
if you're going to do something, do something.
Well, I guess Western Border...
Do something or just leave it. Like,
well, Western Border, I guess, are in a peculiar spot because I guess we all know Casson's wanted to leave Western Border for a few years now. They're either going to wait around for them to leave and become a 5-team league, or do they try and be a part of this push to merge? But, you know, Western Border's either going to no longer exist anyway, or they're going to have 5 teams. It depends on what they think is the best for the future, I guess, for the clubs.
I think it's pretty ironic that it's called Western Border when there's 5 teams on the eastern border of South Australia.
You've said that to me before.
Like, who cares if it ceases?
Yeah.
It's not the Western Border anymore.
And the clubs will still exist. That's the main thing.
Yeah, you don't want to see anyone fold.
That's exactly right, yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I think there's only one. It's only Mount Gambier-based people pushing for change.
Yeah.
So I think it's quite ironic to put in the media that 6 teams are sustainable, but then pushing for change. Because the push for change isn't coming from Mid-South East or K&T, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So you tell me who's in trouble and pushing for it.
I guess, do you ever get a chance to go watch like different leagues like K&T or anything in your bye weeks, or you're always off like working or going away to Adelaide, Melbourne and stuff?
Yeah, not much anymore. I used to go watch a little bit of K&T when my brother played up there, cousin played up there.
Is the style different? Because I haven't seen a lot of K&T myself.
Yeah, K&T is by far the best, I think.
Yeah, just in terms of like skill and just like everything, or faster,
bigger ovals, more space.
Yeah.
Just probably more dry too, I guess, up there.
Yeah. What's your favourite ground to play on? Speaking of grounds in Mid-South East.
Oh, I don't know. I like playing at Robe. Glencoe's probably not a bad oval. I like the bigger ones.
I do. I like Mount Burke because it's smaller, it's unfit, so I didn't have to like kind of run as far when I was playing on the flanks and stuff.
Probably hate playing at the Bay the most because it's the smallest. Nah, obviously you love playing at home and stuff. That's good, but yeah, Robe's a nice big open space with got good facilities up there as well.
I've never played a shit game like as in terms of weather. I've never played a shit game of footy at Robe, considering it's a coastal town.
One, I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon.
It's pretty good.
Lucky the sun's been out like every year I played there. It was always a great day. I always loved driving down to Robe to play there.
Yeah, I was normally in mint condition.
Yeah,
I think big goalposts. Big goalposts make a difference to goal kicking.
Yeah,
100%.
I'd agree with that.
Way more accurate with big goalposts.
Yeah. I'm the expert because I miss from the goal square, so I know what it takes to fucking miss easy shots. All right.
Tant's all right when it's not windy. Ironic coming from the Bay.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I reckon every game I played at the Bay was always shit weather. Like we always got the July games. Obviously, coldest, windiest, and wettest month. We always got the July game in Port Mac.
I think Western Border, like obviously, I loved playing at West. Obviously, home ground, big ground, and South was always good. Yeah. That COVID year at South was good as well.
And Caston, as a spectator, Caston's good to watch as well because the way it's designed as a spectator. Never played on it, so I can't comment on playing on Caston, but I think we are quite lucky in like all our leagues. A lot of the ovals and grounds are good to just watch footy like, as a spectator as well. Yeah. I do like Robe because of like is kind of like there's a hill to the side there and stuff where you can stand and watch and what have you as well. I don't think there's a ground I don't look forward to watching footy at. Because they're all, I mean, the league does really well in terms of like extra seeding for like finals and grand finals and stuff. But Paul Mac has a grand final this year, don't you?
I believe so.
Yeah. So you reckon that'll give you a bit of advantage if you do play in the granny, or
Don't know. Got to get there too.
do you think just a grand, or do you think weather will come into it well? Like, do you think?
What do you mean? It'd be 25 fucking sunny.
Do you like?
Yeah, it'll be a disadvantage. It'll be too hot.
Training there every week, obviously. This time of year, obviously, it gets nicer as obviously the months go on and you're playing finals in September and stuff. But do you feel as though, like, when you're able to play the grand final, like, obviously, if you make it there, not a lot of teams don't get to do it, but you experience the same at West. You obviously train there, you play there every second week. Do you think it's that big of an advantage to be able to play the grand final at your oval?
Well, didn't make a difference at West when we got done by 90 odd points.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because it doesn't always benefit the team, because it hasn't happened heaps in local footy, but it has happened a few times.
Nah, I don't think it matters where you play at all.
Because Clangadoo played at Clangadoo last year, and they obviously won, but I think they were going to win anyway.
They would have won wherever they played at.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's an advantage. Like, I think it's probably you could say it's a disadvantage. Like, I know that in the Western Border, North beat South at South one year, and South beat North at North one year, and
Yeah.
North beat West at West. Like, yeah, I don't think that. I don't know. It'd be an interesting stat to see how many people have won a grand final on their home ground.
Yeah, it would be. I should have done the research before and had a look at that. But yeah, so I guess we've talked about all your accomplishments and what have you. Is there anything that you haven't accomplished in footy that you would like to before you retire, or?
Oh no, just pretty happy winning the premiership, and
Did you win best and fairest, club best and fairest?
come runner up to Roo when he won the medal, which
Yeah.
is pretty good.
And you were captain for a year?
Was captain for a year.
Yeah.
Yep. Vice captain now.
Yeah.
I was obviously pretty honoured to be the captain, so that was pretty cool. And yeah, a few things happened off the field last year, down at the Bay, a few tragedies and stuff, and
Yeah.
being captain at the time, yeah, felt I had a bit of a role to play off the field, and yeah, pretty shit circumstances, but I'm glad that I was there and in that role and was able to support people and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it'd be good to win a best and fairest, but I don't know.
Hard to win. Bit like a flag.
Not going to win that in the back pocket the next couple of years. Nah, I don't know.
So you're pretty happy with like your accomplishments at the moment, like you.
It'd be good to win another premiership, obviously, but
If you had to retire right now, injury or what have you, you'd be like pretty happy with your accomplishments at 27.
yeah, well, I played footy for 20 years.
Yeah, long time.
Consumes you a bit, so yeah, I'd be content with winning one premiership. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know what else I was going to say. What was the question? Yeah. I think
Pretty happy. Like
reasonably happy.
like you said, the premiership's hard to win. You've won one. Grand final's hard to make. You've played in 3 in total, won 1. So
think I'm sort of at that age where like I sort of should be at my peak, but I don't know. I'd have to think about it. There's opportunities to sort of get into assistant coaching, like
kind of transition off the field, like whilst you're still playing.
yeah, like I've done a little bit, sort of half of last year with the senior Colts, and then this year I'm assistant to the senior Colts, and I've loved it. Like they've got a really good group of kids, and Steve's like get on really well with Steve, the coach, and
Yep.
then Neto, he helps us out as well. I think we've got a good thing going there, and pretty funny. I was assistant coach in 2015 and 16 of the senior Colts, so I was probably only 19 and 20. Ned's age group. Fucking hated it. Like,
Why?
because I wasn't that old, and they were disrespectful. That age group's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And we won it in 2016. And I was like, fuck it, I'm not doing it anymore. And then never really thought I'd be back in that position, but yeah, a few things happened last year, and I sort of helped out a bit. And then Steve asked me to help out this year, and it's been good for me personally. Just sort of get out of my shell a bit with the kids, and I'd like to think the kids respect me.
Yeah.
Like, I fuck around a bit and be a bit of a dick, but nah, that's good. Like, yeah, I don't know. We're up there in the Colts too, and we're a chance. But
Yeah.
if we don't, like, that's something. Yeah, after being a premiership player, put that aside. Like, this is one of the better things I've done is with that group of kids, I think. So
Yeah. That'd be like good accomplishment too, like in the future too. Like if you're a premiership player and a premiership coach, like that's fucking hard to do, obviously.
So yeah, I am a premiership assistant coach of juniors.
Yeah.
It would be good to do it again. I think that would be to that group of kids and to Steve and the club. If we were able to take it out this year, that'd be fucking huge. I think.
Yeah.
So that's a goal, definitely, and
Yeah.
then obviously try and win the A grade. But
Yeah. All right, we'll land the plane here and end the podcast. Thanks for being part of the first episode, mate. Good having you here. Yeah, if you'd like to be a future guest on the Country Footy Diaries, or I'm planning on doing maybe a Country Netball Diaries in the future, or